reproductive seed.
Says, you know, I've had a blowout experience of God.
In a place that will burn forever.
Walk in the middle of Manchester, you tell me there's not a devil.
Good afternoon, your station The Bay. John Gilmore with you this afternoon, and with me in the studio, Keith Ayling, my special guest, the frontman with Cato. Keith, welcome to The Bay 96.9 FM. Tell me a little bit about local band Cato.
Well, we're from Blackpool, and there's 4 of us, and we kind of we play our own brand of alternative pop, although we'd rather not put a label on it, really.
Now, you're about to play your biggest show of your calendar year this weekend. Tell me about it.
It's Greenbelt Arts Festival, which is at Dean Park in Corby, Northamptonshire. And it's the 25th one they've run, and we're playing on Sunday night on main stage.
Obviously, you've played there before. What makes this event so special to Cato?
We've kind of, as a band, grown up there, and they've given us a lot of opportunities, so it's quite an emotional moment, and it's part of our calendar, really, and we're going to miss it when it goes.
Greenbelt is a Christian festival. How do Cato fit into the Christian element of the festival?
Well, all the members of the band are Christians, but we kind of really agree with the ethos behind the festival, really, in that they're there just to put on a really good quality weekend, good quality arts and music, without a hidden agenda behind it, really.
Keith, on behalf of us all here at the Bay 96.9 FM, we wish you well. Ever may, I'd like to play a track from your latest CD album, Seasider, which is called Superhero.
If you're looking for sex, drugs and rock and roll, then the Greenbelt Festival is definitely not the place to be. Because for a quarter of a century, thousands of Christians have used this August bank holiday event to celebrate all aspects of their faith. For many, it's the big event of the year, a kind of cross between the Glastonbury Festival, Songs of Praise, and a caravan and camping convention. Oh, and there's no alcohol served here, so after a cup of tea, I guess I should have a look for signs of God. After all, most people here claim to have had a spiritual experience. They talk about a time when they had an awakening. But a field in Northamptonshire is hardly the kind of place to spring to mind when you think about going on a spiritual journey. But I'm going to keep an open mind. But there's one question I've got to ask. Can you find God at Greenbelt?
Yeah, I think they can. Although they can also find God in their kitchen, or in their garden, or their bathroom, or they can find God walking down the road. God is, I think, able to be found by different people in many different ways, and there is no sort of right and wrong way in particular. I think the best we can hope for is some kind of experiences that assure us that there's nothing to fear after death, and that there is a path we can follow that grows momentum and grows reassurance with it. So some people are very sure that other people are going to hell. Personally, I would rather be sure that I'm going to heaven than worry about other people going to hell.
Have you really got this experience, or are you just imagining it?
I'm not saying that I'm kidding myself, because I don't believe that at all. And I do believe it's God. But I don't spend my life looking for experiences. I spend my life trying to be a disciple and trying to be someone that's committed to loving other people in the world.
What about people that say, I've got everything in my life, I don't need God?
People have got to do their own journey. They really have, you know, and I have done something which has given me the opinion that I'm in touch with God. And I keep doing it because it seems right as I keep doing it.
Are you saying then that people can look for God, but there's no guarantee that even if they do try, that they'll find God?
To be honest, I don't really know the answer to this one, because I felt motivated quite profoundly to go for God. And when I did it, I didn't think, oh, I'll give this a try for a while. Something inside me said, it's this or nothing. This is what life's about. You know, what else could I put my trust in? What else is there in the world? You know, I don't want to put my faith in chocolate or having a flash car or whatever. That all seems really shallow. So I'm just saying, you know, check out what you think is really deep. Check out what you're really about in here. Don't let anyone else tell you what you're about.
There's 3 rats on site that we know of.
Yeah. I don't know where the other one is, but basically they need looking after whether I'm at home or not.
So what have you been getting out of the festival then? Because there's all sorts of people here, isn't there?
I've been here for years.
Yeah.
First came in 1984 and been every year since.
Yeah. It's really good. I was walking up by some monks, Franciscans or something. They're like offering me cups of coffee and they're just chatting to me. Like, I mean, they didn't even bring up the subject of like religion or anything. They're just having a chat. You know, it's not like anyone's trying to convert you while you're here or anything like that.
I mean, I didn't plan for this to be like really spiritual, but it was. So.
What if I said you're crazy? You're losing it somewhere.
If you said I was crazy, I'd say, then never mind. I'm crazy. I'm happy. I'm crazy with God. I'd rather be crazy with God than sane without. So.
There's a certainty about God that many people here seem to have. They believe they've found God, and it's not just something they think has happened to them, they know it. But what about these Franciscan monks? What do they believe? Well, other than the need to offer hot drinks to everyone, of course. I was looking forward to seeing you because I was told I got a good cup of tea at the Franciscan tent, is that right?
Absolutely.
It's one of the things that we do while we're here. We provide food and tea and warmth and chat to people who come.
Do you want sugar at all?
No, that's great.
No, good, fine.
Poverty, chastity and obedience, it's something that seems a bit outdated, but Franciscans still go along with those 3 rules. How does that work in your life, especially in the world in which we live?
Sometimes it's very difficult because it's not necessarily what I want, and I would want to question the values that society puts on individual free choice. That the more choice you have, in a sense, you know, you go to the supermarket and if you can choose from 50 different cereals, your life is more fulfilled or satisfying or whatever than if you have only 5 cereals to choose from.
But you seem to have something that is kind of more genuine than all this kind of total certainty.
Yes, I mean, I'm wary of people with total certainty, and I think there's a really, really important place for doubt in our spiritual growth. Because if ever we're certain, then we can put God in a little box and just leave God there and take God out of our pocket in God's little box, you know, when it suits us.
What tips have you got then for me, looking for what you might have, what you think you've found?
I think it's good to find someone who you trust, who you can meet with regularly, to offer you some guidance. I mean, not necessarily someone who knows it all, but someone who can accompany you on the way.
But you have fun as well, don't you? I mean...
Oh, absolutely. I think, I mean, I'm very aware of God's sense of humour.
God's sense of humour might well be to say, right, Aspin, you're off, and send me to join the Franciscans.
Right. Ah, well, you never know. You never know.
I might not find it funny, though. What a nice man. But I can't really see myself as a monk. I need something a bit grittier. The guy everyone's queuing to hear at his Greenbelt seminar is John Smith, the Australian biker and campaigner for social justice. Has he got the answers that I and millions of other people are looking for?
The call is for a responsible discipleship that says when Caesar or Prime Minister or President or Parliament enacts that which is contrary to the teaching of Jesus, I must peacefully and lovingly dissent with my life as well as my mouth.
John Smith has worked for years with people who live outside or under the weight of the law. He leads a bikers group and is an adopted member of an Aboriginal tribe. He also lives a radical brand of Christianity which shapes his whole life. But do things have to be so intense if you want to find God?
I don't know your temperament, mate. You see, if we sat in the bar and had a few drinks together and I got to know you a bit more, I could give you a better answer, because I don't think there are simple one-size-fits-all answers. I mean, there are pictures of God being like a storm you know. There are other pictures of God, like a still small voice. There are pictures of God that are like the, you know, the pastoral beauty of the mountains and all that stuff. And then there are pictures of God that are pictures of God almost like a warrior. Now, all those pictures you'll find in literature. And I believe that God meets us on the road as we walk in whatever is the scene of our walk. I don't think that can be fixed, mate. And I think that many a person has found God beginning with a genuine interest. You know, like I'm interested in art, I'm interested in mildly erotic literature, or I'm interested in films or something else. And religion's kind of interesting too. And it intrigues me. Why have so many of my mates gone that way? I'll have a look at this stuff. And then you get into it a bit, and you're saying, you know, and you start having these experiences, and before you know where you are, you're hooked on the thing serious.
All right.
That's not bad. That's the way everything in life is, you know, mild interest to start off with. In the end, you grab the thing. I don't know why it is that everyone gets intellectually sort of defensive if somebody says, you know, I've had a blowout experience of God, and they say, well, calm down, it might be unhealthy. But you can go and spend all night in a rave, and that doesn't matter. So I'm a bit inclined to think that most people that find God powerfully go through some dark stuff.
At its peak, the Greenbelt Arts Festival attracted more than 20,000 people. But I wonder how many of those have gone through the dark stuff that Smith is talking about. Most seem to only talk about how fantastic their experience of God actually is. With thousands of books on faith, religion and spirituality, maybe someone's written something that'll give me a few answers, or at least point me in the right direction. Anyway, things can get very intense here at Greenbelt, so I could do with a bit of light relief before I meet a rock star who says he's come out of some dark times and may have a few tips on all this truth-seeking and spiritual journey stuff. As part of my Greenbelt experience, I thought I'd see Mike Scott, a favourite at the festival. As former lead singer of hippie band The Waterboys, he's enjoyed chart success, but there's far more to him than that.
Anyway, right now on this spiritual journey of mine, I'm exploring my dark side and finding out what that means for me. And it's a cool thing to do, and it even gives me some songs like this one.
Well, I think everybody has a dark side, and I'm still exploring mine, and I can't say authoritatively what the dark side is. I don't think it's anything evil or anything. I think it's, you know, we all have illusions, and we grow up in a culture that's full of illusion. You know, after my awakening, I realized I've got a lot of things to change in myself, a lot of things to work with.
Drawing close, lady bride. Take a look at my dark side. I can't show this to anyone, but you, my close and intimate one, my dark side.
The main thing that happened to me, I think, was having my heart opened. And that happened to me at a community, at the Findhorn community in Scotland about 5 years ago. And I did a program there, and I'd always heard this phrase, open your heart, or when heart is open. And I never really knew what it meant. I thought it was a sort of vague term for being in love or something, or being nice or good. But when my heart opened, it was a physical feeling with an emotional cloak around it. This vast thing happened to me during this program at this community, and I could feel my heart, this huge, big, pumping, beating planet inside my chest. It's like I had a sun in my heart, and it was fantastic. And I really felt different about everybody and about everything.
Hold your fire when you touch his cage.
It's God inside me, as God is in everybody, and I just got turned on to the divine spark inside me, and it got fanned into a flame, and it was the most fantastic experience of my life. It's still the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And when I'm down, or I don't know what to do, or I can't figure out which way the wind's blowing, I remember that, I'm not like a card-carrying Christian or anything. I'm not anything really. I think deep down we all are united and we all have the same core. I believe that our core is the same power that made the whole universe, and it's love at its essence. So perhaps the experience that I had is the same as the people here. I would suspect, but I can't be sure.
I've been hurt, but I'm alright. Because underneath there is a light. Thank you.
The people who come to Greenbelt seem to have a unified belief which holds them together. The festival programme suggests contributors and artists, staff and punters come from diverse Christian backgrounds. Catholic, Protestant, Methodist, Salvation Army, Baptist, Free Church, you name them, they're all here. Camping, going to gigs and seminars, praying, eating, queuing for loos, together. There's a lot of different opinions about Christianity and religion here, but it's a belief in a personal God and that experience of God that unites them. And the Sunday morning communion service seems to be the spiritual high point of the whole weekend.
Perhaps sent to bed early.
You know, the service is just such a brilliant, very powerful gathering every year, and you know, it's definitely a highlight of the festival. For me personally.
Oh, it's lovely to experience the communion every year. It's very touching to me personally, but I think to everyone that I know who are Christian as well. It's great.
Do you think that's God?
Yeah, of course it's God. Yeah, definitely.
I think having been to lots of the seminars and debates and seeing all the different opinions from one end of the scale to the other, and then we can all come together on a morning like this and to where we have a centrality in Jesus, and I think it's excellent to have everyone together like that.
I think what's different about Greenbelt is that there's a particular cocktail of faith and art, spirituality and art, which is very powerful. Those are two quite powerful ingredients in people's lives, and I think when you fuse the two together, it brings you closer to a picture of God. It's a closer picture of God than certainly I hear in sermons in church, for example. Someone once said to me that they thought the closest experience that we have of God is an aesthetic experience, the kind of shiver down your spine that you have when you hear a fantastic piece of music, or when you see a fantastic photograph, or when you read a fantastic book or go to a fantastic film. That there's something in the experience with something artistic that someone else has created.
So is Coronation Street then a form of art that could bring me closer to God?
Well, maybe for some people that does it. I think I'm thinking about a more individual, contemplative type of experience, and I think quite often art inspires that kind of experience in people.
There are loads of tents where you can hear teaching on anything from what the Bible says about sex to recycling projects, or you can hear a seminar by a former drug addict, or even the Archbishop of Canterbury, or you could just listen to a story. Or do a bit of shopping and try on some environmentally friendly new clothes, if that's what takes your fancy. Or you might even bump into a Radio 1 DJ with a few tentative suggestions about how to find God.
Welcome to a sort of a quizzy, panel-y thing all about Greenbelt, past and present. And we are going to be in
For me, Greenbelt is about faith and intelligence. Because there's an awful lot of faith which is completely stupid. And so this is a funny festival, and it's an intelligent festival, and it's a mysterious festival.
There are 8 Greenbelt performers who've had #1 singles in the United Kingdom. You get a point for each one. Very good over there.
Do people have an experience of God when they come to Greenbelt?
I mean, if you mean signs, wonders, visions, miracles, I think you're asking the wrong people, because 99% of people would go no. One of my other favourite quotes is from an old mystic, who I think was German, lived about 500 years ago, called Meister Eckhart, and he used to say, he said this thing about He said, God is like someone who coughs while hiding. And I kind of like that analogy. You know, you're out there looking, and you can't find it because it's flipping difficult to find. And then just as you're about to give up, it's like you're playing hide and seek with your dad, and he goes, so that's the rumour, that's the cough. See, so that's what I think it's about.
It's hard for me to get a handle on it, to know exactly what.
No, that's the whole point.
What exactly do you mean?
I haven't. You know, if you are a part of a faith system, I've tried to avoid using the word Christian because I have. Oh, scary. Oh, that was another moment. Because it then adds, people think you're all sorts of things. So I try and avoid it. But it's not that I've got any answers at all. Sometimes if you're in a faith, it just means you've got more questions, actually. And it's a complete myth for people to say, you know, I believe in this, therefore I've got, ask me the question. I haven't got them.
You two? Deacon Blue?
I don't think so.
What?
It got to number 2, that's...
No, it was the EP, the Burt Bacharach EP.
What do you get when you fall in love?
Yeah.
Got to number 2, didn't make it to number 1.
It was a number 1
Can anyone experience God?
Well, I know some people are looking and they don't find anything for ages. Sometimes they're looking so hard they can't even see when the answer does actually happen. You know, someone coughs and they're so busy looking for a trumpet blast that they miss the cough. You know, and so I think it's down to the burden of expectation. And people, if they listen to their life, they will hear these things going on, but you have to be listening, which is not the same as searching.
Your head is exploding with dreams and visions, like a man with a plan and a watering can.
For us as a band, it's been really important over the years that we've played here. And I mean, comparing it to other festivals and gigs and stuff, there's much more of a family kind of atmosphere here. And once you've been here a couple of years and everybody knows you, it's almost like a church. I mean, it isn't because it only happens for a weekend, but there is that kind of support and family atmosphere on the site, which makes it brilliant. You know, it's invaluable to you as an artist.
You are asleep when I'm around. You have no love, I have no hate.
The thing about Greenbelt is it's all in one. It's a big melting pot. We have like the music there. We have like what we want to say, and the Christianity, our religion. They all come together, and it's really important.
Sometimes you play a gig and you feel, oh, it was awful, didn't enjoy it, your audience just seemed to not react at all, you know, we could have been just playing to a brick wall. And this has happened, that we've done one of those gigs and then the next day we've received a letter from somebody who was at the gig who was saying, the music really touched me, you know, and God really spoke to me during the gig. And that just blows us away, really.
I've seen some things on this spiritual journey and it's been a bit of a mixed bag. Many of the people I've encountered claim to have had this mind-blowing, life-changing experience of God. But despite their certainty about having found the truth, for me, it's just raised a whole load more questions. But what about me, and millions of others like me, who couldn't say for sure that we've had a spiritual experience? Will our beliefs ever be as strong and as clear-cut? Maybe we'll never arrive. Maybe we're not meant to. Maybe we're just supposed to continue on our own spiritual journeys and at least to keep looking.